A former aide to Wayne County Executive Robert Ficano is breaking his silence tonight and only to 7 Action News. He is one of more than a half-dozen appointees to tell us that Ficano's office is running a political machine on county time, but he's the first to go on camera. Investigator Ross Jones has his story.
James Wallace says he's blowing the whistle on Robert Ficano's political machine. He was recently let go by the county and filed a lawsuit that's leveling very serious accusations against his former boss. If the FBI isn't looking into what he's saying, Wallace says they should be.
I went through a year of my life almost of them just being awful people because I wouldn't do what they say. Sometimes I had to because I was afraid for losing my job.
What James Wallace had to do, he says, was break the law. For 9 years, he was an appointee of Wayne County Executive Robert Ficano, working just feet away from the CEO's office. Part of his county job, he says, was to help operate Ficano's well-staffed political machine on county time, claims he's outlined in this whistleblower lawsuit.
It's very much ingrained in the culture there. I think a lot of the pressure that I received from my immediate supervisors was because they thought it was okay.
He was appointed by Ficano to be the CEO's graphic artist, making brochures, advertisements, and mailings. That included, he said, lots of political work that he was instructed to do on county time, a violation of federal law.
It wasn't just Mr. Ficano, it was anybody that he supported. I did commissioners, state representatives. I did some stuff for the treasurer.
Wallace says he complained to his superiors often, telling them that he was afraid he was breaking the law. But he says managers assured him everything was fine. Wallace remembers talking with his boss about a negative political ad he'd just completed on county time, attacking Ficano's opponent.
When I finish it, he says, put this disclaimer on it, not paid for at taxpayer's expense. Paid for by the Political Action Committee.
The county paid for that?
The county, the taxpayers paid for that. And that kind of stuff happened a lot.
That makes it more provable and attractive to a U.S. attorney or to a jury somewhere down the line.
Bill Kowalski is the former assistant special agent in charge of the Detroit FBI and now works at Troy's Raymond Corporation. He says testimony and evidence like Wallace's could be of interest to the FBI, whose investigation into Wayne County has already netted 5 criminal charges and 2 guilty pleas.
When you're in the FBI and you see pleadings such as these, it certainly piques your interest.
Wallace says he was just a small piece of the Ficano machine. The county executive's floor in the Guardian building is made up of a north and south end. Wallace worked here on the north end with other communication staffers.
We all knew what was going on in the south end. You know, some of the people who did the political stuff I've never seen do any other function personally except the political stuff.
He says appointees like Joanne Abdenauer and Valerie Denha, who shared the same floor as Wallace, worked almost exclusively on politics and fundraising. Their salaries total almost $165,000. Wallace says they sometimes pressured appointees to buy tickets to Ficano campaign events. He remembers one conversation he had with Denha when he didn't. Wallace asked her why his paycheck from the campaign was shorted $500, the same cost as a ticket to Ficano's next fundraiser.
She said, well, it shows in our records that you haven't bought a ticket yet for a gala. And I said, Valerie, I couldn't afford my kid's birthday present this year. I had to borrow money from my parents. And she kind of went, I'm just trying to help you out.
Wallace says Denha and Abdenauer reported to Assistant County CEO Nader Fakhouri, who collected a county salary of more than $145,000. Until recently, he was Ficano's chief fundraiser. What was his 9-to-5 job?
He was the chief fundraiser for Mr. Ficano.
So he was doing fundraising during the workday?
Yes.
No question?
No question at all.
Ficano refused an interview for this story, but said neither Fakhouri nor any county appointee has ever worked on fundraising or politics during the workday.
Let him double down on that under oath. Let him say that under oath. I believe he has full knowledge.
In an email, Wayne County's Corporation Counsel said yesterday, Mr. Wallace's accusations are simply not true. Unfortunately, Mr. Wallace and many other county employees were terminated as part of a workforce reduction to respond to county financial challenges. Mr. Wallace's claims to the contrary have no merit and will be thoroughly refuted in court. We should point out that when Wallace was let go, he was among Ficano's lowest paid staffers, pulling in about $50,000 a year. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.